Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for the Cuckoo's Fiancé, Chapter 51. When we last left our heroes, we saw Sachi confront Hiro about expressing her romantic interest in Nagi, and about Hiro kind of teasing Sachi's feelings for Nagi to Nagi himself, which led to us seeing a bit of their conversation from back at the high school. Then we had a very awkward bath scene between Nagi and Erika, as Erika is apparently unaware that most people in Japan go to baths in the nude. So it seemed like we had a lot of development in their relationship there and Erika's views of it that got kind of walked back at the end. Then it turns out there are only 2 bedrooms in the villa. Each of them can only hold 2 people, and so Nagi has to spend the night with one of the girls. So all that being said, let's jump right on into Chapter 51. Would you mind if I take him? Okay. Excuse me. So yeah, we open with a small bath. Whoa, there's a personal hot spring bath in our room. We also have this little blurb here. A couple of cuckoos, 100 people, 100 voices project is underway. Popular voice actors, musicians, actors, idols, comedians, and many more will be participating. Visit 100cuckoos.com for more information on it. I don't really know what that's about. I don't know. I heard some Black Cat post on their Twitter there was an anime confirmed. I couldn't find any more information on it than that one tweet. So maybe this is tied up with that, possibly? I'm not sure. Anyway. So we're with Nagi, so we still don't know who he's spending the night with. The blurb says, the person, keyword there being person, apparently, who will be with Nagi tonight is, anyway, crushed rock salt? So this is those bath salts I've heard about. Then he turns the shower on. What's up with this shower? It feels like the caress of a gentle rain. And then he calls out to whoever he's sharing the room with. Hey, come take a look at this. It's amazing. And it's Sachi. Okay. We'll see how this all turns out. And Sachi is clearly unhappy, to her credit. This sucks. I came all this way for this trip. Why do I have to sleep with you? And Nagi kind of, that's my line. And I finally had the chance to live in the same house as Seigawa-san, and then she, throws a pillow at him. Shut up, you're gross. And then Nagi turns back to her. Anyway, it's your fault for drawing the same number as me. But you were the one who drew that number first. That's not the argument you think it is, Sachi. And we see Sachi has divided their bed, given herself 3/4 of the bed. Which again, like I keep saying, their relationship feels so much like siblings that it makes it really hard to take it seriously whenever we get random Sachi's in love with Nagi shit, because it just does not come through any of their interactions. But anyway, I love Sachi, giving herself more than half, like 3/4 of the bed. And she points at it, from this towel onward, no trespassing. And Nagi just glares at her. Is that really necessary? Up until recently, we had nothing but a curtain between us. Just keep out, okay? My territory is way too small. And then we come to Hiro and Erika's room, as Erika says, Hiro says, let's see. Next we're doing... And we see Erika breathing heavy. I don't think I can take much more. In a very, very, very suggestive pose. Yeah, they're playing Twister. We see right hand on red is the next thing to land on. Wait, I just can't. And then she just collapses on the ground. I don't know why they're playing Twister, given that... To my understanding, one of the sole purposes of Twister is to get in compromising positions. So I don't know why the two of them are doing it. Anyway, Erika's just kind of collapsed on the Twister mat, which is on their bed for more compromising positions. You win. Your core strength is super impossible. And we see Hiro's in this really weird pose. It's nothing special. No, it really is, on an anatomical level. And then she looks at the box. But what's a game like this doing in our villa? Don't tell me, Daddy! And she has this image of her father in like a bathrobe and a glass of wine with three girls on the twister mat. Mr. President, I can't! And he laughs. Ha ha ha. Alright, take that what you will. And then we cut back to Hiro. We worked up quite a sweat before going to sleep, didn't we? I know what we should do next. And Erika is shocked. Huh? We're not sleeping yet? Splash some more. Okay, here we go. And now they're in a bubble bath together, which I guess makes sense for rinsing off the sweat, but there's just sort of there's a certain vibe this whole setup is giving off, and it kind of feels more like this whole setup is just for that they're doing these scenes for the kind of romantic sexual undertones of them, especially sexual undertones, and not for like because that's what they would do. I don't know. Wow, it's all bubbles. There's no way I can do this at home. I can't do this by myself either. And then Erika looks down, but what's this bubble bath mix doing here? Could this also be, and she has another image of, I think this is three different girls. Yeah, because the first three were all blondes, and these three are not blondes. All in the bubble bath with her father. And then just kind of like freaking out as Hiro calls, Erika-chan, what do you think? And we see, she stands up, she's got a bunch of like soap foam in her hands. The soap foam also covers up the things that need to be covered up to keep this manga PG-13. And Erika gawks, Hiro-chan, isn't that a bit much? I'm a bubble monster. Don't I look fierce? Yeah, again, this just feels like it's here for the sexiness of it. Or the sexualness of it, I guess. I don't know. Let's turn you into a bubble monster, too. And Erika kind of like pushes back. I'm fine, jeez. Ah, ha, ha, ha. And we hear their laughter. And then we see a picture of Erika with like a bubble hat that stretches all the way up. Upload complete. And she's posted to her Instagram as they're now relaxing on the bed. And Hiro says, I'll be the first to like it. Aw, you're embarrassing me. And then Hiro just chimes in, I still can't believe it, that I'm spending time like this with the one and only Erika-chan. Yeah, something we kind of don't think about too much is that, like, when Hiro and Erika first met, their relationship was, like, kind of defined by Hiro being an Erika fan. So yeah, it's good to remember that every now and then. And Erika kind of looks away, embarrassed. Don't say that now. I'm not like that, You really should be more self-aware. You're the most famous high schooler there is, after all. I mean, that's a stretch, I feel like. And then Erika counters, well then, me too. I never thought that I'd be staying up late with a friend, making a ruckus and talking like this. I thought that I'd grow up never having done this sort of thing. Here's the kind of character work that makes much more sense than the sexy shenanigans of the last few pages. This kind of open-hearted character work feels more in line with the two of them than random twister games and bubble monsters. Anyway, and then Hiro asks, I guess you could say this is all thanks to having met Umino-kun? And Erika looks back at her shocked. It's not like this has anything to do with him. Our parents decided this engagement on their own, after all. The two of us don't approve of it. And Hiro looks back at her. She's very clearly skeptical. Which, fits with her, with what she's been noting off Nagi recently. Anyway, Erika turns back. So what about you, Hiro-chan? What kind of person is your fiance? Are we finally gonna get to finding out who or what kind of person Hiro's fiance is? But Hiro just looks sadly and then says, I don't know. We've never met. Okay. So the reason we don't know Hiro's fiance is because Hiro doesn't know her fiance. Alright. What, really? Yep. I'm not interested in being engaged either. And Erika just looks at her shocked, and then just says, then you're the same as us, huh? And that shot of Hiro there, that seems to be Hiro thinking, not really. You two are fine being engaged. And then Hiro says, say, Erika-chan, if you don't mind me checking with you first, if you're not interested in Umino-kun, would you mind if I take him? And there's our title line. And she just kind of drops that, and we see that Erika is stunned. Because, Erika has all these feelings for Nagi that she has not worked out yet. And with Hiro just laying that all on the line, now Erika kind of has to confront that herself. And we see Erika just stunned into silence as Hiro waits for a response. Hiro-chan? You like Nagi-kun? That's all you have to say? Think about yourself, come on. And then she just passes out. I'm assuming she's faking. But Erika seems to buy it. She's asleep? And then we cut back to Nagi, who is in the bathroom. There was like a fan blowing. Ooh, hot springs are the best. And you accidentally spent a bit too long in the bath. I hope Sachi doesn't get mad at me. And he has this image of like Sachi with like little demon horns. Too slow. Nagi, by the way, is still in his underwear as he walks out. Which I guess they're siblings. They've seen that. But given Sachi's whole deal, I mean, sure, Nagi doesn't really see it, but you know what I mean. Anyway, bath's open, Sachi. And he looks down. Oh no, he realizes what he's wearing. Of course, because Hiro has kind of put that idea in his head. And so he covers up in a bathrobe. Bath's open. I put something on just in case. This is him thinking, no, what am I being self-aware for? Back home, I got out of the bath in my underwear, didn't I? And we see that Sachi is kind of asleep on the bed. The towel, by the way, has moved to the halfway point now. Hey, Sachi. And then we also see Sachi is asleep. Excuse me, I'm feeling a burp, but it's not happening. Anyway, moving on. She's asleep? I guess there was no need for me to be so considerate. And he takes off the bathrobe, revealing he's already dressed underneath it. And we see, actually, on page 15, it looks even, but on page 16, it looks like the towel is back over to his side. We see, Sachi is sleeping on her side, and Nagi is just, like, straight back, completely rigid. It's so cramped. And then he kind of leans back on his side. Opposite side, he's now back to back with Sachi, basically. And then he's kind of, that's at damn it, why can't I sleep? And we see the ocean over that line. And now we see the two of them are actually still awake. In a very, it looks like almost a different art style than usual. It's basically this chapter's token money shot. But it just looks, there's something about it that looks different. Like, the normal token money shots still feel in this series' normal art style. But this feels different in a way I can't quite place. It looks nice. But yeah, the big point is that the two of them are unable to sleep. Now they're sharing the same bed. I'm not enthused at the prospect, for reasons that I have documented over the past 51 chapters. But yeah, and we see so yeah, like even just going back to the art style thing, I think it kind of looks shinier. That's what I'm gonna go with. It looks a little bit shinier. And then we go back to the normal art style. That's what it normally looks like, which is still a gorgeous series. Don't get me wrong. Anyway, we see the two of them are still awake, blushing. Uncomfortable, and then we cut to Erika, who is still awake, sitting on the couch in the living room, it looks like, looking out at the sea. I remember. And she looks down at the twister and the bubble bath. It's just like I thought. This game and the bubble bath too. And we see a flashback of a young Erika. We're bringing these? Where? And it's her brother. To the villa. And then she suddenly realizes, my brother is here. Finally drawing close to the person she hopes to reach. Next time, an extra page, a clue to finding her brother. Brother's in quotes there. Okay. So, I understand the route the series is trying to make there. But I don't quite get, we took this game here as children, therefore my brother is here. That doesn't, there's a missing step there. There is a missing step there that I can't quite work out. But yeah, let's talk about this chapter. I don't have a whole lot to say about those last 2 pages, because I assume it really is just a stinger for 52. And there isn't a whole lot to get into now. But the first 18 pages give us plenty to talk about. Let's talk about Hiro and Erika's scenes first. Because once we get past the bath, I think is really where this chapter shines. As the two of them kind of, start talking about fiancés and, well, honestly, looking back at it, Hiro from the get-go tries to make this conversation about Nagi. First they have the whole, once they get past, I can't believe I'm hanging out with the Erika-chan. After that, the first thing, Erika kind of follows up with the same idea, and then Hiro says, I guess you could say this is all thanks to having met Umino-kun. Which, to me, knowing how the conversation ends up, seems to be like she's going right away for, can I date Nagi? And then, Erika kind of deflects, and in her deflecting comes around to Hiro's fiance, and we get that moment of admitting that she doesn't know her fiance at all. And then we get to what she had wanted with this whole conversation. Can I date Nagi? Which forces Erika to kind of, she plays it off as, you like Nagi? Holy shit, that's supportive. Yeah. But that first panel of her looking all, like, right after the line drops, of her looking stunned, that feels like she's just, coming to grips with how she feels about Nagi at the same time. That's my theory. Yeah, we'll kind of see how all that plays out in the future, now that Hiro has left all of her cards on the table, and Erika is still kind of, at this point, probably knows how she feels about Nagi. Even going back to the not yet line, from whatever chapter that was, she's, I think we've reached the yet. I think I said that a couple of chapters ago, but I think we've reached the yet by now. And I love Hiro, she drops this bombshell and immediately pretends to fall asleep and will not face the consequences. I honestly, I think it's more believable if she's pretending. I also think it's a hell of a lot funnier if he's pretending. So yeah, I think the start of that is just not great. It's not awful, but it's not great. But then once their conversation really gets going, it's definitely the best part of the chapter. Now let's talk about Sachi and Nagi. Yay! I sure do love talking about Sachi and Nagi. Okay. So like I said, at the start, in their first part of the chapter, their banter is so sibling-like. And I said this over and over and over again. But the towel gag is how siblings fight. That is such a sibling move. You give your sibling as little room as possible. Yeah, that's what you do. That's the thing. But then they're both lying awake because they can't quite, because they're just too uncomfortable. They're too dealing with their feelings for each other. I mean, what is there to say that I have not said? I can't think of anything. I just, I think I said this before too, but I think the series just needs to get all this out the way, dedicate however many chapters Yoshikawa needs to close the door on getting with Sachi, so we can all move on to an incest-free rest of the series. That's my thoughts. That's my full take. Though again, that money shot is just really, really good looking. Um, it looks more that's what it is. It looks more like it's from an anime that's just like been black and whited. Rather than the rest of it that's a little bit scratchier, a little bit more hand drawn. Um, so yeah, and with all that, we have Erika's brother is apparently nearby. I don't quite think that the evidence that Erika has leads to that opinion, but maybe she's just wrong. Next chapter says we get a clue to the brother, which is not the same thing as finding him. And again, the mysteries around the brother are really interesting, and I really want to see that play out. But yeah, that's my thoughts on the chapter. It's really a mixed bag, as anything that involves Nagi and Sachi always will be, until we close the book on that whole subplot. So yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, feel free to drop me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!